a skinny girl, I need you to listen to me now. You do need to exercise. Exercise is not just about losing weight. Hey there, it is your favorite nurse yogi, Leslie, and I am here to discuss why skinny girls need to do strength training. And preferably, y'all need to be doing strength training before we turn 35, okay? If you don't know who I am, I'm just going right in, ain't I? I am a registered nurse with 12 years of healthcare experience. I'm also a certified yoga instructor with 5 years of teaching experience. And today I made a short form piece of content where all the time, so I have 2 kids, right? And it wasn't until after I had my 2 kids, let me know if you can relate to this, skinny ladies, where I finally filled out, okay? I was flat everywhere. And then after I had kids, I got curves, right? But even before I had kids, I was in the gym because I wanted to get stronger, right? I didn't like how my arms looked for 2 reasons. I've overcome this now, but I have very hairy arms. Shout out to one of my grandmas. She was like, "Your hair on your arms is strength." And I will never forget her saying that. I think I was like 12. And so I didn't like the hair on my arms. And then my arms are naturally muscular. And as a kid, I didn't like that, right? But now here I am, and I'm getting older, and I'm realizing that us skinny girls, we need to work out. We need to exercise because as you age, this is what I'm really getting at. As you age, you lose muscle, especially as women. We lose muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. I'm hoping you're saying that. That's why I paused. But no, for real though, if you don't use your muscle, and what that looks like is this: if you are not picking up a weight. So like I said in my reel today, I'm not saying you got to deadlift 200 pounds that weighs more than you. No, I am saying get a 2-pounder. They got these cute little pink 2-pounder weights. I'm going like this because you can get the ones that you put on your wrist. 2-pounder, put a 2-pound on each wrist, and you can also put a 2-pounder on each ankle, okay? And as you're doing your hot girl walk, because if you live in Florida, Orlando specifically, it is hot as hell, right? So you gonna get double the sweat. And sweating is so good for your body because it's detoxifying you, right? You want to sweat. And I know a lot of us don't like to sweat, but next time you sweat, I want you to thank your body for regulating itself, right? A lot of the things I hear on my corner of the internet is talking about regulating our nervous system, when one way you can do that is by exercising, right? So by releasing those stress hormones, increasing those endorphins, right? So we have to stop thinking that strength training is for the bros. It's not. We girls, we gonna lift too, right? And a lot of with my nurse hats on, I work from home and I'm looking at the screen because I reviewed medical records, right? I review medical charts of people coming into the emergency room, and a lot of these people are women that are breaking their hips. Typically, women over the age of 65, 75, even more so, are at greater risk of breaking their hips. And okay, I don't know if I can say like bye, go on to be with him, go upstairs, like the other word over here, even though I have been saying it, and I'm just trying to be better with how I say language on YouTube so I don't get suppressed. Anyways, but the reason being, and a lot of these people like are the older generation now, right? Think about it. You might know somebody in your personal life, grandma, maybe a great aunt, that you hear they break their hip, they end up in the hospital, and it's a whole thing. And the reason it's a whole thing is because your grandma, your great aunt, whomever it was, that older woman in your life, did not do strength training. Like, I can guarantee. Yes, there might be somebody in the comments that are like, girl, my grandma, she been on it. In the 80s, she was doing her aerobics and strength training. And we love that for grandma. Sidebar. I feel like aerobics back in the 80s, like, I feel like our Pilates, like how all the girls are doing Pilates, peonies and Pilates, pups and Pilates, 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 Pilates. I feel like that's our version of aerobics. Like when our, like, you know, back in the 80s, aerobics was a thing. You wear the cute, like those ankle warm, you know what I'm talking about, those long socks. They had like the headband and the leotard. Now it's like cute pink sets, like a cute matching set is for Pilates. I feel like history just repeats itself, and it just is wrapped in different things, but it's the same thing. But what I'm getting at is, if your grandma was doing aerobics and strength training, I love that for grandma, and I'm pretty sure grandma is thriving right now. But for whatever reason, a lot of that generation, they were sold that women don't lift weights. And I feel like that was on purpose, y'all, because now a lot of them are suffering with osteoporosis, which is weak bone. So osteoporosis, anything when you hear the word osteo relates to your bone, right? So you might know somebody that has osteoporosis, right? And you know, back in the day, they say drink your milk, drink your milk. Yes, do things like that, you know, eating things that are fortified with vitamin D, going outside, getting sun. These type of things can help with your bone health. But what you also need to be doing in tandem with those things, like taking your supplements, eating foods that are rich in vitamin D, you need to also be lifting weights, because our muscle, I'm going to give you some anatomy and physiology right now. Your muscle is wrapped around your bone. So what that means is, think of your bone as literally a bone. And the only way that your bone is upright, like in your legs, in your arms, is because of the connective tissue, also known as like the muscle, right? So you have these muscle fibers that protect the bone. Like, that's how important so when you do not use that muscle, and I said you lose it, what I'm getting at is the muscle gets weak, so that if you fall, God forbid, like you fall down your stairs, you hear about, or you have a slip and fall in your kitchen or your bathroom, and you hit whichever way you fall, right? That's another type of conversation too. Making sure you know how to properly fall. Like gymnasts, they know how to do this. BMX riders, like people that do those sports where they are at great risk of falling and injuring themselves, they know how to properly fall. Like you see Simone Biles do like a tumble and all the things. And then if she does fall, because she like tuck and roll, right? To protect her vital organs, to protect herself from breaking very important bones like her femur, those type of things, right? So the stronger the muscle is, because the muscle is protecting your vital bones. So you have a bone in your lower arm, you have a bone in your upper arm. Let me just tell you what the bone names are. We're really going, y'all gonna really test my nursing degree. I love it here. So the bones, and I'm speaking of bones too. My son, he recently broke his wrist. He was jumping off the swing, and like on the 4th or 5th time, so he was doing it repeatedly. And the 4th or 5th time when he landed like this. He broke his left wrist. Thank God it was his left wrist and not his right wrist, because he is right-handed. So, you know, you got to see the good in everything. But that was one of the questions. My husband was like, you got to learn how to fall. And it's like, okay, well, like, how do you fall when that happens? You tuck and roll? That takes a lot of skill, you know? So anyways, in your arm, you have these 3 bones. These are the main bones. You have your humerus. So your humerus bone is right here, okay? So from your shoulder to your elbow is your humerus bone. Do you see where I'm going? So when you hit your elbow, like, oh my gosh, I hit my funny bone, because your humerus bone is here. So that's why people call that the funny bone, because of the humerus being connected to your elbow. Then we have your ulna bone. So you have your ulna bone that goes down here, and your radial bone is on the side. Typically, let me just check myself before I wreck myself. Your radial bone, yeah, the radial bone is where the thumb, I was like, I remember that because it radiates off your thumb. So yeah, your humerus bone is in the upper arm. Then in your lower arm is your ulna bone. And then on this side where your thumb is your radial bone, which you can feel it a little bit, right? Is your radial bone. Okay, so wrapped around these bones are muscles. So we have our biceps, we have our triceps, which those y'all I'm trying to work out. By like upper body, I look muscular. Like I told you, I was really self-conscious as a kid with my arms because they're very muscular. My body is very muscular. It was just I had no curves, and now I got curves. But with that being said, I look strong and I'm getting stronger. Let me change my verbiage. But doing things such as tricep push-ups really help build that muscle in the back arm. So you got your biceps, you have your triceps. So when you're doing like bicep curls with your 2-pound weights, you're strengthening your biceps. And then if you do push-ups, specifically tricep push-ups, look that up. That will help strengthen the muscles in the back, your triceps. And what we're doing, so you can, because in order to, it's one thing to be motivated and another thing to be educated. Well, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is when you know the why behind why you're doing something, depends on the person, but you're more likely to be like, oh, okay, let me do this. Let me pick up the weight. So what we're doing, like I said, the muscle is protecting that humerus bone in this case. So the more muscle I have around the humerus bone, the less likely the humerus bone will break. Okay? Another really big bone, going back to what I said, grandma, great aunt, you hear about it all the time. They fall, break their hip, and then have to get a hip. They have to replace their hip, and it's called ORIF. You don't need to all know that. But what it is they have to reduce the bone. It's a very painful procedure. Orthopedic surgeons deserve all of the money because they are literally, it's back breaking. They are breaking bone, reducing it, putting pins, all of these things for that hip replacement. And they have to replace the hip bone. So what tends to happen, a lot of women, when they fall over the age of 65 and they like just completely fall in whatever capacity it happens, they will break their femur. The femur bone, y'all, is like, it is the most important bone in your body. So you have your femur bone in your right thigh and your left thigh. Let me explain. So your femur bone, right, is connected to your hip bones, okay? So the femur or the thigh bone is the longest, strongest bone in your body, and it's the heaviest bone. So that's what I'm saying, when they do the surgery to replace the hip bone, they are having to deal with the femur, because what can happen, so okay, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was gonna be teacher today. Y'all still hear me? Oh my gosh, this whole time, okay, please hold. This whole time I was echoey, and the sound is now better. Okay, so your femur, I'm just going to show you the picture. So this is your femur, okay? The longest, strongest, heaviest bone in your body. No matter your body type, it is the longest, strongest, heaviest bone in your body. And it's just like, the way God designed us, beautifully and wonderfully made, right? So as you can see, okay, let me just make sure something, please hold. Please hold. This is real life. This is real life. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm just doing a few things at once, and that's the way it goes. Okay, so this is your hip bone is up here. And so you see what will happen is if the femur breaks, and if it breaks, typically what happens, it'll break where the hip socket is, which is around there. When that happens, that's when your hip is, you broke your hip and they have to replace your hip. You have a hip fracture. That is a very dangerous place. That is a very dangerous bone to break, because like I said, it is, the femur is the longest, heaviest, and strongest bone in your body. So if that gets broken, if it fractures, fracture means when the bone breaks, like it, You know, you eat a chicken bone and it breaks. That's fracture. You fractured the bone, right? It's not good. It is not good. So that's why it's really important, going back to strength training, that you're doing things such as squats, right? I like typically we prefer, I'm woman, I prefer to do squats, right? I prefer that. Like I told y'all, even though I look strong on the top, my preference is lower body because I have more down, like I have more down there, right? I have more butt, I have more thighs, especially postpartum, and now that's all toned. But what I'm getting at is this: you want to do things such as squatting. You want to do what else? You know, in the gym, you can do things such as where you push. This is your feet, and you push the weight. There, let me tell you other exercises that you can do. I be doing these things in the house, but how to strengthen thighs. So yeah, I already said squats, lunges. Okay, yeah, I was like, that's what I'm like. I want to give you guys home things because I primarily do strength training at this time in my house, in my garage, right? With my Peloton app, not sponsored yet. And what we do a lot of squats, deadlifts. Okay, so you can use deadlifts with free weights. You don't need the whole kit and caboodle. We also do lunges. So you're taking the weight, you have the one weight in each hand, and you step back. Every time I do the lunges, I always think like I'm in the airport with my suitcases because I need a vacation. And then what else? What other things do you do? We talk lunges, step ups. Oh, those are fun. I recently started doing those in the house. Do not do what I'm about to tell you. And I actually bought, let me know if you guys want to see that. I did buy a workout bench because this is a funny story. So I'm so visionary, and let me explain. I'm so visionary, and I'm so like, I'm just going to get my workout done. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So with the Peloton app, how I have it structured is it knows that my focus right now is to become stronger. So I want to incorporate more strength training into my workouts every week. I work out 3 to 4 times a week, but ideally I work out 3 times a week because I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to gain muscle, become stronger, so I don't get osteoporosis, right? And so one day, it was like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, okay, let me do my strength training, blah, 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 just click. It's super, I love it. It just tells me what to do, right? So it tells you what you need. I'm not going to be like, they didn't. It tells you what you need. And it said a workout bench. I was like, it'll be fine. Like, because the ones I've done in the past, the strength training workouts, when they say workout bench, they only use the workout bench maybe for like one thing. This workout, it was the whole thing was the workout bench. So then I used like a foldable chair. I didn't use it because I'm not bringing this chair, but I used a foldable chair. And then do not do this. Do not do what I'm saying. I'm just telling you guys just to give some levity. I don't want you to think that I'm like constantly berating and saying that you suck, because you don't suck. You're watching my video, so that means you want to be 1% greater, and you already are because you're watching this video. So the step up thing, you literally put your foot on the chair. So you start with the right foot, and then you step up with that foot that's on the chair, okay? Mind you, y'all, it was a foldable chair. I could have folded like Kehlani into my chair. Thankfully, I'm very strong. Like, even though I'm saying like I want to get stronger, my body is very sturdy. And the reason my body is very sturdy, so as I was going up and I was like, my God, what am I doing? But I need to get this done. I'm not pausing it. I have time right now. My time is precious. As I was going up, I was like, core. That's a separate video, but core is also something that you need to make sure that you are strengthening. Everything is core. Everything you do in life is core. Even sitting in this chair right now, I'm like, roll my shoulders up, back, and down. And then I'm like, bring my belly button towards my spine. Notice how my posture changed, right? And it's because my core, my belly button towards my spine is how I keep my core tight. Core does not mean crunches. I actually saw, I was watching a video talking about orthopedic surgeons. I follow Doc Iggy. He is an orthopedic surgeon. Yes. And he was saying, how he's like, y'all complaining about lower back pain, but like these are things you should and shouldn't do. And one of the things he was like, y'all need to stop doing the crunches, because he's like, you're putting so much stress on your core. And a lot of that has to do with improper form, right? So there's other ways, and I have yoga classes / I guess yoga sculpt, if you want to call it. I'm not yoga sculpt certified, but I do have yoga classes where we focus on the core, and not in the way of doing crunches and doing Russian twists. No, we're doing things like dead bugs. We're doing things like, there was a creator I saw call it this, but I do it too. Like bring the belly button towards the spine. Doing that, like do it with me right now. Bring your belly button. So find your belly button and bring it towards your spine. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, back behind you, and slide your shoulder blades down the upper portion of your spine. Relax your jaw. Place both of your feet onto your floor beneath you. And notice how your whole posture changes, right? Notice how you're just more even. Your body weight is evenly dispersed throughout the chair, wherever you're sitting, okay? So core does not need to be complicated. The reason that people overcomplicate it is because when people talk core, they think of their belly, the belly fat. And the belly fat is from poor diet. The belly fat is eating foods a lot, like taking in a lot of foods, like processed foods, drinking soda. Those type of things are why you have the belly fat. You can do 5 million crunches a day and eat like shit, and that belly fat is not gonna go nowhere, okay? So that, because we're at the 20-minute mark. But that is like, I wanted to talk about this in long form, just the importance of strength training, because I don't see enough of like the skinny girl who becomes strong. And I feel like skinny girls, we think like, well, I'm skinny, I'm fine. And we're not fine, y'all. We're not, because God forbid you did fall. Like if you are under the age of 65, like if you fall, what will happen is this, because I've known people that have fallen that are under 60, right? You fall, especially you fall like in your 30s. I'm in my 30s, right? If you fall in your 30s, you're going to have one piece of soreness. You're going to be sore for maybe a couple of days. And it's dependent to the soreness on how you fell, yes. But also if you are somebody that exercises regularly. So if you are somebody that exercises regularly, that gets adequate sleep, how sleep get into this, right? Because sleep gets into this because you are going to have some kind of injury in life. Like none of us are going to get out of this life scot-free with no type of injury, right? And so so where sleep comes in is that sleep is the chance every day for your body to do what's called cell turnover, right? And to recover, to drain all the impurities from the day. The only way you can do that was with sleep. If you are not sleeping, you are putting yourself more at risk of getting sick. Your immune system lessens, right? Because it's not able to do what it normally does during the sleep time of the cell turnover, draining out all the gook in your brain, that because all day you're just taking in all the content, you work and you mom and you're doing all this stuff. You have to sleep, right? So if you're somebody that doesn't sleep, and it makes sense when you think about it. I'm going to close with this. If you're somebody that doesn't sleep, right, you are more at risk for falls. I feel like people think that falling is for older people, but anybody can fall. I was pausing to just be careful of how I say that. Anybody can fall, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. But if you're not sleeping, you're less likely to be aware of your surroundings. Your senses that are there to protect you, your sight, your hearing, all of that decreases when you don't sleep. And then lastly, to tie it up, strength training. If you are a skinny girl who's like, I can't, I'm weak. One, we got to change what you're saying to yourself. You are not weak. You are uniquely and wonderfully made, and you are learning how to get stronger each and every day, right? And that's why I said at the beginning of this video, I just want you to start with a 2-pounder. I just want you to start with a 2-pounder, okay? This is preventative health. This is longevity, right? So if you need support in any of this, check out the link below. This is day 96 or day 97 of YouTube. As you saw, the first half of this video was still, well, this might be the first time you're clicking on my pretty face. But with my videos, so you heard me correctly, I have been showing up on YouTube for almost 100 days. We are 4 days away from doing this for 100 days in a row. 20 to 30 minute videos, y'all, with the exception of 2 to 3 days. And you think those days I didn't post. I did post. That first day where I was like, man, I ain't got it, I gave y'all a cute 3-minute vloggy vlog. Then the second day, it was another vloggy vlog. It was like a 10 to 12 minute vloggy vlog. Then the third day, which was like a week or now almost 2 weeks ago, it was another vloggy vlog because I ain't got it. Those 3 days, I ain't got it. But even if I ain't got it, y'all are going to get something. The 20 to 30 minute thing is shout out to Glow Autonmo. She is the one that inspired me to do this 100-day challenge. She has all of the data behind the reason why you do 20 to 30 minute videos. It helps with my watch time, and that's where I'm at this time. So I need you to stay fully, because I already have the 1,000. That's done. But I need you to stay locked in and watch my videos from the beginning to the end. And between me and you, turn me on and leave. And then come back and just make sure the video played. All right? Help your girl out. That's how you help. It is free. But you know what's so interesting? I'm going to let you all go after this. We live in an attention-based economy. We do. And people that live in scarcity, they be like, I ain't got money to like go to your classes, or I ain't got money to pay for your coaching. I ain't, right? But you can watch my videos and you can take copious notes. Like honestly, everything I'm saying is a part of my health program. And if you apply everything I'm saying, you can be very healthy. Like you really can. I believe that, right? But so anyways, that was just a little rant. I should stop talking because this is almost 30 minutes. And I'm going to let y'all go. For real, for real. See you all same time, same place tomorrow. Bye for now.